Good evening, everybody. It is Friday night, my friends. Which means I'm back and I'm going to be doing some coding tonight. It's going to be a nice, chill Friday night. We're going to chill. We're going to code a little bit. Maybe chat a little bit along the way, hopefully. And just in general, have at thee with this the streaming service stuff. So let's bring up the main screen here, my friends. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. Certainly been an interesting week in my neck of the woods. So hope everyone else has been having a good time and or at least just generally is excited for the weekend and ready to unwind and relax and do all those things one does on the weekends, hopefully. Anyway, friends, I am back. There was one thing I wanted to look at too. I know Mytho had reached me, DM'd me, saying that he almost has everything working except the registration form wasn't working. It was complaining about the database. And I'm wondering if I hard-coded something here. Let me see. And that would be in the networking section, right? Or maybe not even. Yeah, I did put an alias of hex-db there. Because that is the alias here, which means your database name should probably always be that. That's what's going to be called on the network. Do I make that clear? I don't think I make that clear in the write-up I did. No, in fact, I put the DB name as something. Something else. Well, no, I put the DB server as hex-db. Hex-db. That should be correct. Should be correct, but that's also I should make a notation here that that is required, so that no one changes that. For local deployment, XDB. Their name is required to be XDB for Docker deployment. That there and that there. Okay, good. Oh, all right. Yeah, turning is required for Docker. Okay. Cool. Cool. I think that's what happened. I think that's it's definitely hard coded right now. I guess I could probably change the POM file and not make it hard coded, but I don't know that'll work out quite the way I want it to, or not, because you might end up having to then change it in 2 different spots, and I don't really want to. I don't want to get into having to change things in 2 different spots, so just say that's what it is for Docker deployment. Okay. I think that might have been the issue I was running into, but we'll see. So. Get the Docker desktop running here. We'll get the database started up. And up these. I don't need the app servers running. Have our database server going. That's good. And let's get a Aqua open. And get that. Be able to. We're going to be looking at the database today. So what we need to do is get. So we had the initial test of. Is it open? Yeah. Okay. We got the initial test done of the authorization and the registry and all that stuff. There's definitely some cleanup I'm going to want to do in these tables for things that we just aren't going to use. We don't need them. But the one thing we notice is that the consent is not being used. And that's because I need to wire that up separately as a consent page to get that to do what I want. So I was looking up what that entailed, and I think it's, yeah, here we go, consent page. The authorization endpoint, consent page, and then consent page URI, and then I just put a controller there with certain endpoints on it, and it should call it with that. So consent. So they said to OAuth to consent, which is good enough for me. So let's take a look at this. Close this out. And I was trying to get the freaking. I was trying to wire that up. It doesn't wire up quite the same way that they have it, obviously, because that would make too much sense for their sample to actually work. So I was trying to figure out how to get this customizer to work properly for what I'm trying to do, and I kind of gave up on it in the middle here. But basically, you do authorization endpoint and then consent page. So authorization endpoint. There's default authentication. And then there is, let's just do HTTP authorization. There's no authorization endpoint. Right, they had it as before OIDC customizer. The client authentication, device authorization endpoint, the get configure. Okay, so they're doing HTTP get configure OAuth2 authorization server configurer class. Class authorization. So OAuth2 authorization server configure class, which is what I've got here. So in theory, it should go up in here. It should be, okay, there it is. Authorization. Oh, they have authorization consent service. I can set the well, I don't need to set the authorization consent service because I have it a bean that's the OAuth2 authorization consent service. I just need to set probably the endpoint. And that takes a OAuth2 authorization endpoint configurer. So customizer OAuth2 authorization endpoint configurer. We'll do authorization endpoint config. Okay, so we got past that hurdle. That was the first one. That was giving me some issues. Okay, why did that move that whole down that way? Weird. Okay. So now we gotta figure out what we put in here. So we have off dots. Here it is, consent page. And we'll just do OAuth2 consent. I think is what they had, or what they were doing. Yeah, OAuth2 consent. So then, where was the? Here it is. Authorization consent controller. Controller. Yeah, they did a get mapping on OAuth2 consent. That takes the principal, the model, client ID, scope, state, user code. What required is false on that. I don't think I care for user code. The client ID, scope, and state are required. Okay. That's what we'll do. We'll fire up another controller. Oops. I want to get over here. Okay. So this should be in there. Here. Next API controllers. This would be just under the regular controllers to the front end. Controller. Yeah, and this would be class OAuth2 authorization consent controller and base front end controller. What will be static final logger. Go. All right. We want public string. It's just consent. Okay. And this is so the parameters that it takes, from what I understand here. Principal. What bothers me here is it's just taking the principal in as just a parameter, but it's not declaring it as a parameter, which is interesting. I wonder if that's something that's new in Spring MVC, where you can just Spring MVC will just give you the principal if you ask for it. Because that would be actually that would be kind of convenient. Because right now I just pull it directly. I just pull the user out of the user details. That is, I pull the user details just out of the server session. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, passing the principal in is faster than, well, not even faster. It's I guess more convenient than pulling it manually out of the server session, but it's ultimately accomplishing the same goal. And I have the get user up in the base front end controller anyway, the convenience method there. So I guess it's not really saving me much of anything, but I do find it interesting that you can potentially just do that. So, because that's not something I didn't realize this was a thing you could do. You could just tell Spring MVC to just give you the principal. I thought maybe that was something that was added later on to newer Spring versions or stuff or something. But anyway, like I know, like there are certain parameters that you can put in your controller that Spring MVC understands, like a binding result, HTTP servlet request, model, blah blah blah, and then when the Spring MVC dispatcher servlet calls your controller, based on the parameters you have there, it will actually fill in the data for those, depending on which ones you ask for. So this suggests that it has access to the principal, and it will go grab it from the session, which is good. So, okay. Principal model. So it's client ID, scope, and state, and then there's specific parameter names for them. Client ID, scope, state. Okay. Wait, was that Java? That's the question. Is the Java security principle, is that what they used? Oh, it is Java security principle. Okay. Okay. Client ID. Scope and state. ID. Scope. State. Okay, and so this is let's do where did I get the names from? Parameter names. I'll have to do parameter names. Now, I know that in the newer versions of Spring MVC, every parameter, every request param by default is required, and you don't have to say required true. I actually do it just out of habit. I put required true on things just because I wanted to be explicit. Like, there are times when you don't need a required parameter. The parameter's not required to be called. You have to set that to false. And I just do it out of habit of just, we know exactly, at a glance, you know exactly what is required and what isn't. And it's just, you know, I just find it nicer to just be able to scan right down and see that. I know it's sacrilege and extra typing, but it is what I do. It is what I do. Router names, scope. And router names that where are we at here? Name state. There we go. Okay, and this would be, so this is controller request mapping off to consent, and then we got to do some stuff. So what are we doing here? Obviously we're checking things, right? Oops, to approve. Why would you care if you've already approved one? Oh, I see what they're doing. So they're saying if additional scopes are required, the only way you would know is to say, like, here's the scopes that were previously approved and there's new ones to approve, so bring up the consent form. Okay. That's going to be a pain in the ass, but I see what they're doing. Limited list of string array, requested scope. Continue. But skipping over any scopes that are OpenID. Okay. Authorized scopes contains requested scope. Oh, I see. It's bringing back all the authorized scopes. And comparing them to the ones that just got passed in. See which ones have to be approved, if any. And presumably, if none of them have to be approved, then we just pass it on. This is not. I feel like this doesn't get called, right? Go with description. Oh, wait. Previously approved. They don't ever check. They don't ever check to see if there are any scopes to approve. Oh wait, user code is string details. Device, oh, that's for device verification. But yeah, so they never check. So then, what is the point of saying, "Hey, these scopes were previously approved"? Like, why not just say, "Here's all the scopes that are needed. Here's all the scopes that it want." Boom, done. Why confuse users was like, well, this is what it used to do, but now it's doing this. Like, just say, like, here's everything it wants to do. I don't see the point of that. I mean, I guess it's useful for the user to know, like, hey, this is now requiring additional privileges. I guess, yeah, I guess from a user perspective, yeah, that probably would be a good bit of information. Be like, you know, because I guess it could be confusing. It's like you approved some plugin or some third party bot, and then suddenly it's asking you for permission again. And I guess it would be helpful to know, like, oh, it's asking you for permission again because it now requires additional privileges that it didn't ask for before, which could also be a sign that, hey, like, oh, this is, you know, okay, no, I don't like what's going on here, or why does this have this now? Okay. You brought me around to it. I brought myself around to it, but the sample brought me around to it, I guess. Okay. So we basically register client repository. That's weird. How do you expect this to work? Because this is a controller beam, right? So, but it doesn't have a public no parameter instructor. How do they expect that to actually get wired up properly? I mean, I guess Spring is smart enough to see that and go, oh, I have these things. But still, like, why even do that? Like, you've wired it up as an ACK controller, why not just do at auto wired on your two things there and call it a day? I guess they don't have the, I guess they, this is in the case of not having the annotation driven turned on, but if it's Spring Boot, which is what they're using, I feel like Spring Boot automatically turns on the annotation driven stuff. And if it didn't turn it on, then this controller wouldn't work either. You wouldn't need the ACK controller there, or to get mapping either. Weird. I don't know what they're smoking here. Yeah, it's just a weird way of doing it. They don't even need this. They can just wire these up as auto wired and call it a day. I don't know. Things they do are just kind of strange to me. That said, I guess most of this is just, I mean, most of this is just that I could use straight up. But I need the register client repository. And then I need the authorization consent service. Okay. So private. Client repository. And then it's like, well, I can just do, right, because it's the interface. I'll have to, what the hell do they call it? Authorization consent service. Okay. Newly requested. Oh. String. Previously approved. All right. So that's the beginning of that, and then we need to grab the client, register client, and authorization consent if any. Right. Register client and then the authorization. Wait, is that my? Oh no. Okay. Register client equals client repo that's find by client ID. And I know I have to keep looking up. My memory is not as good as it should be. OAuth to authorization. OAuth to authorization. Issue consent. That service that find by ID, register client ID and principal name. Where do we get the principal? Oh, right, principal.get name. Well, that's why we pulled the principal in, right? Okay. That get name. Okay. They don't even check to see. I know they check to see if the consent exists, but they don't check to see if the client exists, do they? Which seems a bit odd. But I guess there's a thought that you'll never get to this point if the client didn't even exist in the first place. Which I guess is true, except if someone's just randomly hitting endpoints on their own. Yeah, if I'm gonna do a null check on that one. And if it is, then I will just send them back to the home page, I guess. What would I do? Throw an exception? Good question. At this point, I mean, yeah, I guess I would just throw them back to the home page without authorizing them. Because they're not authorized until they hit the OAuth to authorize endpoint. Right, so I'd probably just throw them back to home and just give them an error message. Yeah. All right. If client equals null, add message, add error message. Yeah. Bring the request in here though. Don't have. Redirect them back to home. Okay. All right. If consent is null, then doesn't matter. Don't have to do anything then. Don't have to put anything in the previously approved scope. So as to say, if consent is not null, I think they actually do put something in here. If it's null, they do a collection. Authorized scope. What? So they have an authorized scopes and a previously approved scope. Why? Down in the... That's so weird. Down in here, they take the scopes that are a set of strings, and they put it into a variable called authorized scopes. Otherwise, they set the variable to empty, which this is completely unnecessary. They could have just put a new hash set here and called it a day. But beyond that, they do this, and then in the loop, they check authorized scopes contains requested scope, which is a scope that's been pulled from the scopes that came in, and they're adding that to the previously approved scopes. Which is redundant because you've already got the previously approved scopes here. So why not just set previously approved scopes to this? And then down here, all you say is if previously approved scopes, if not previously approved scopes contains requested scope, scopes to approve, add requested scope. Like this, it boggles my mind sometimes. This is what happens when you don't care enough about what you're doing, right? Because this is like, and what I mean by that is, this is a sample, right? This is meant to be put out as a sample of how to use this Spring Authorization Server library. It's clear to me this is a rough draft. And what do I mean by that? When I write code, I write it like I'm writing a novel, right? I go through, I do stream of consciousness and say, I need to do this, 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 and this. And I write those things out to see what they look like. Then I go back and I look at it again. And I say, okay, how do I clean this up? And so I do, so, you know, that first one was like the first draft. And then I do a second draft. And then sometimes there's a third, fourth, and fifth draft. And you've seen me do this a couple times where I look back at something, I'm like, I don't like the way this looks. I'm going to change it. This to me looks like a first draft. Somebody just like, fuck it, I'm going to just throw this out here the way it is. Who cares? It's a sample. Blah. Right? That to me shows a lack of care about your project, right? Because this is how people are going. Because first of all, you couldn't be bothered to make decent documentation. That's strike one. Strike two, your sample code is not up to date with your library's requirements. That's strike two. Like I've had to do a lot of interpolation to get things to work the way they're supposed to work. And strike three is you cared so little about your samples, which are right now standing up as the only fucking documentation about how to use your damn library. that your sample is just chicken scratch. You just ran through real fast. You did it one time, said, this is good enough, and then didn't bother to like clean it up a little bit, make it look decent. I mean, again, that also comes up to this. Like, why is this way? Instead of using annotations, like it doesn't make any sense to have this, except if you just very quickly were just throwing something together and like, oh crap, I might as well just make an at controller here, and then you forget to do anything else, right? It bothers me. It bothers me a lot because this library is part of the Spring Framework project's umbrella. And Spring Framework is used by a lot of people in the community. Like, it's one of the most popular libraries used. And these MNFers couldn't be bothered to, actually make some decent documentation, actually make some decent samples. They're just like, screw it. We'll just throw something at the wall and they'll figure it out. And that just bothers me. I mean, this is not... I would expect this from like a first-year college student who was just throwing a library out there just for the sake of doing it. This is the kind of thing that I would expect from Ruby on Rails gems, right? Because like 99% of Ruby on Rails gems are some bored college kid in his freshman year just being like, I need to do this in Rails. I'll just throw this thing together, 20-line thing, and throw it out there, and no support, no documentation. They'll just figure it out. And then you have these big companies that come along, they're like, we need to do internationalization and stuff, and the Ruby on Rails, you can't internationalize your dates, so we got to go find a gem that does it. Oh, look, there's a gem over here that does it. We'll bring that in. And it's that poor college kid's gem that just is now doing the work of multi-million-dollar companies need, and there's no documentation on it. There's no support to it. It was just something thrown out there. Oh man, it bothers me sometimes. This is the scope of things sometimes. Oh man. Anyway, that's you get to enjoy my rant. You get to enjoy my rants sometimes, and this is definitely one of my rants here. But yeah, so we're gonna fix this up. The current authorization consent get scoped is what we want for everything that's already authorized. Right, so if consent is not null, then previously approved scope equals consent. Oops. Oh. Okay. And then we want to look at, so we're looping over the scopes that just came in. So for each and for each new scope and then they're using Spring utils, right? String utils delimit list to string array. Delimit list to string array. So scope. And I guess the space, the scopes are limited by spaces, I guess, which I suppose makes sense because they're not meant to be Shakespearean sonnets. Yeah, it looks like a space there. And then they're skipping over any OpenID scope. OIDC scopes.openid. Skipping over that. Which I will do as well. ID equals new scope. What does this translate to? Okay. And then what do we get? Okay, so then we're just checking. So, if not previously through scopes that contains new scope, and then newly scopes that add new scope. See how much cleaner that is now? Jesus. Okay, so then we set up the model and stuff. I don't know, I don't think there's a reason to put the client ID and the state into the model. I don't even know what is the state supposed to be. I mean, okay, maybe the state. I need the client ID. I don't need the client ID in the model. But I don't want to put the client ID in the model. I mean, I suppose it. Yeah. I mean, what would I need it for? I'm not going to display it for anything. I'm curious. Client ID. What did they? So they have. Application. They have a page here somewhere, right? I'm under source main Java. That's resources. Templates. Instant. I'm curious to see what they're doing here with that. Are they actually using it? The application client ID wants to access your. Oh, so the client ID is the application name? Client ID is the application name? Why would... No, that can't be right. It's gotta be client name, right? Wouldn't client name be the name of the client? ID, because there's a client ID issued at, right? Which tells me... Well, there's also a client secret, but... client ID, to me, the client ID issued at means that this client ID is a token that we issue. Right? Because why else would you care what? Because if you're not issuing it, then why would you have an issued at state? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Right? So you would want client name there, not client ID. Are they just calling it client ID even though it's really client name? No, they can't be just calling it client ID because we use it client ID to look it up. So yeah, that's all kinds of wrong. Again, their sample is just stupid. Like, this is just dumb. This is not how that's supposed to work. That should be client name, not client ID, which we'll have because we have the client, we have the whole object. Principal name makes sense. I can't help but shake my head. It's just one of those things. I just gotta shake my head and just move on. User code. Verify this code matches what is shown on your device. You've provided the code. Oh, okay. So user code is when we have... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing user code stuff. At least not initially. I see what it is. So user code is when... basically, if you're doing like... So for instance, if you're on... I mean, we might need user code when I do the Roku stuff, maybe. I don't know. But if you were on like a Roku TV device or something, then what they'll often do, or even sometimes a Fire Stick, even though Fire Stick is usually powerful enough to do a regular OAuth login, if you're on a device like that that's limited, maybe it doesn't have a browser or something, you can tell your users log in through your phone or log in through your computer, and then you would go to a specific URL to do it, and then it would we would generate a user code, which is just like letters and numbers, just some random letters and numbers. And then you would type that code in to the Roku app or whatever. And then it would do an authentication via that code. And that would be the consent basically at that point. I don't think I'm going to need to go down that path. So I think I'm going to turn user codes off for now. I mean, they'll be on, but I won't be generating anything, so it won't be useful to anybody. And I won't have all the endpoints for it, I don't think. So, okay, so that's what that's for. Following permissions are required. Are requested. And not, the list is empty. Previous scopes. Or I could actually probably copy this entire thing and just rework it. It's using Bootstrap. Yeah. So I could do that, and then have a script here to cancel instant. So instant form reset. Instant form submit. reset. I guess reset resets all the inputs. But then why would you submit that? Because basically, so again, this is an example of them not thinking, right? Like basically what that means then essentially is you're going to submit the form, which is going to it's not even going to get into the method because it doesn't have the required fields filled out, which then causes Spring MVC to kick you, which then causes an exception, which I guess is what they were going for there. Like, oh, it'll just cause an exception and then you'll end up wherever you're going to end up for your errors. Although in my case, it'll just going to put you on an error page with a stack trace likely. So that's kind of dumb, because if you're canceling the consent, there's no reason to even like do anything, right? Like why not just send them to, I guess you'd want to send them to logout maybe. Which, come to think of it, is what I should redirect to if there's no client consent there. Just redirect to the logout page. And then that way they're completely logged out of the system. Which means that their session's invalid, their remember me tokens become invalid, and they'll have to log in again. So that way if anybody's trying anything funny, I'll annoy them. So they stopped, which is a good way to stop them from tell them to knock it off, is just annoy them. They're like, all right, you're gonna hit some random endpoint. Well, I'm gonna log you out. Now you're gonna have to log back in again. How you like that? I like them apples. Yeah, I mean that's kind of my answer to a lot of things, because during logout you're going to kill, you're killing their session entirely, which is good, their server session. So there's no potential for a breach or anything there, or having somebody who's in like a partially logged in state and not. So yeah. And under those same conditions, then this cancel consent would be, instead of submitting the form, you would just do a window.location blah 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 /logout and call it a day. Like, how weird. How freaking weird, man. How freaking weird. Anyway, let's go back to where I was. Now I understand why they had that there, and I don't agree. I vehemently disagree, actually. So I'm going to do, instead of client ID, I'm going to do client name. That's what it should be. If they had put any freaking thought into their sample, they would have also come to the same conclusion. The other thing too, the other thing that's bothering me here, first of all, let's do redirect to /logout. Yeah, there's another thing bothering me right now. Let's go try exception. Actually have some kind of error handling here. To play off consent form. Okay, that makes me feel slightly better there. That there. And let's say client name. And that would be client name. I'll that add attribute. Try that. There we go. And then I guess state, I don't know. State in there, and I don't know if they actually used it in their thing or not. And then we get previous scopes. Scopes. Got it. And what else we got here? Is that actually playing? Oh yeah, it is actually playing. It's just in a quiet spot. Previous scopes, new scopes. Principal name. Oh yeah, they're augmenting the scopes with descriptions, which again is the wrong way to do that. Because really, it's really you would get that from a message bundle, which is what I'm going to do. But they do have message read, message write, other scope. I'm thinking they have OIDC scopes profile. Read your profile information. So I guess what I want to do is I need to provide rather than just the scope name. So I do need to do something like this, but not exactly the same thing. So it'll be yeah, okay. And that so we'll get principal name in there. The only one I'm kind of missing. So let's do model, add attribute. You know what? Username. That's what it. Principal. Oh, that's going to be their user? Yeah, no, I want the I could probably cast that principal. Yeah, no, because I don't want their username. I don't want their username showing up really anywhere. I want their display name to be the thing that shows up there. So name. So I would have to cast principal to X user, hopefully. And that would be display name. Yeah. Do it that way. And then I also want their avatar. So model and attribute. Their avatar. X user. Principal. Yeah, get Gravatar ID is the thing that's going to be right now, right? Because I don't have a mechanism for them to upload their own yet, but I will soon. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to handle that because I'm going to need. Well, I'll need basically a utility that I use to call. So wherever I call get Gravatar ID, I would have to. Or, well, yeah, I'd have to wrap it with a utility. That's basically what's going to have to happen. We have that. So that's the user display name, user avatar, new scopes, previous scopes. Okay, so now I gotta fix the scopes thing. So I gotta say private. Private. What do I want it to be? I guess just make it a list. It doesn't have to be a set at this point. I can just say list string map scope to description. We'll say set string scopes. I'll make this plural. That's what it is. And start. So then import a list here. And let's see what we got. Map scopes to description. Cool. So it'll be we return scopes that stream that map. No, collect. think. So collect, go, and just say go, next, off, go. Plus scope. Right. I don't know if I did that right. Sure, I didn't do that right. Java land and strings to set of strings. Yeah, is it map? Is it? I think map is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, map is, I think, because I keep that's what I get confused. I get the map and the collect confused. I think it's map. US. Yeah. I think that's what I want. So then that would be for both the newly requested and previously approved. So we'd say that scopes previously approved. Requested. Okay. Basically what that does is it appends the string text.oauth.scope.blah to the scope name. Because then I can put those in the messages properties file and we'll be good. And I'm actually going to do that right now. And say text.oauth. What did I call it? Text OAuth scope. Dot. And then what did they have here? They had ydc scopes dot profile. What does that map do? What does this map do? Just the word profile. Okay, and then what did they... Application will be able to read your profile information. And then what is the scope I've been using? I think I've been using read. Just for testing purposes. That's what I was using. Where's my what is the name of the application now? Postman. So what scope was I doing? Read. Okay. Say that right now. And it'll just be whatever it's going to be, right? The application will be able to read your account information. I guess profile information. I think by profile information, I think they mean the profile information you have in your OIDC server. So I'll leave that language the way it is there. Okay. So we have that in place. Oh, the only thing we need now is the redirect and the page itself. So request URI, just OAuth to authorize. Yeah, that's if you're authorized. And I'm just going to call that the... I'm just going to say auth URI for that. Yeah, in case, I guess in case I ever do want to do a device verification, I'll do that here. So auth URI makes sense there. Authorize there. Okay. And yeah, we just return OAuth consent. Also the add common page style set layout. Didn't I have a common model attributes that I did here. Page title, set layout. I guess I didn't. Yeah, because I don't have enough on there. Okay. So set layout and set page title. How do I need the request on this one? Oh, because I'm doing a get message on that. Whereas the other one's just an internal layout. Okay. So, got here, I need here. Views, the layouts. Layout main and page title. Let's come up with a title here. What titles that? Do I have them all? Yeah. So it's title. Consent. Categorization. Go. With consent, blah 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 blah. So then in here, I need a new folder called O off. And then we'll create a file, empty file. Sent HTML. And you know what? I'm just gonna grab theirs and rework it for my purposes. So copy raw file. Because they're using Thyme Leaf and everything else, so might as well. Alright, first of all, that there, HTML. We get rid of all the head stuff and body. And then I just put a wrapping div around this. So we got div class container. Actually, this is let me just do each div. Yeah. Th fragment. That. Grab this whole shoot match. There we go. I'm pretty sure it's the fragment, right? It's been a little while here. Oh, I have been doing div class container. Oh, I don't have to do the page div. All right, because it's the names. So yeah, page tab. Yeah. I get it. Okay. Class container content. Blah blah blah. I guess I could do it. Why not? Why have an additional div when you don't need additional div? It's been a couple weeks since I've had to do anything with time leaf, so I'm already forgetting. The fragment is what? Content? Here? Is that what we call it? Yeah, and then that automatically gets picked up. Okay, and then there's a whole lot of things here that need to be turned into actual messages. Let's go move this guy down here. And I'm pretty sure it's just yeah, just not that where's one I actually have it? Admin? No. Here it is. Registration.text. Yeah. Okay. This is OAuth consent. Consent header. OAuth consent header. What did he just say? I guess allow application access. Okay, and then we want OAuth consent. OAuth consent description. Say the application. Application blah. Here's the problem. I want that to be. I would like that to be bold like they have it, so it stands out. don't think there's a way I could do that without doing a variation of what they have here. Yeah, I'd have to do a variation on what they have here. Which means I'd have to break it up into 2 messages, basically. Yeah, I guess that's, yeah. Description start. Wants to access your account. Okay, so this would be all text center. I could do this in line, right? So it's how do you do that in line again? It was I did this somewhere else, didn't I? So this is what happens. It's been a while since I do things, and then I forget how I did them. Fragment messages. Yeah. Square bracket and then parenthesis. Yeah. That's what. So going. And this would be off instant description start. This is user name, user play name. This is instant description middle. Oh wait, this is wrong. This is client name, and then this is. I call it client name, or did I call it? No, I call it client name. User display name. And the avatar. How did I display the avatar at Okay, I just called the service directly. I'll do that and pull out the display name. Okay. Did ID, does it live link? Yeah. And this would be user avatar ID. Is that what I called it here? Oh, excuse me, I just called it user avatar. I didn't do anything weird to get that, did I? Oh, I did. I put it inside of this block. Right. Okay. So I can actually pull the avatar ID out of there. Put this inside ban, and then that, and this comes from user avatar. Okay. That's the only way it would see it if I did it that way. That's the only way I would see the avatar ID. Because I can't just pass up, even though you're supposed to be able to pass another variable into there. It didn't seem to like it. Okay, so we got that. User display name, I got their avatar. Well, I wonder if the avatar should go. Yeah, I guess go last. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Might look a little out of place, but I do want to make sure. I do want to make sure the avatar is on there because it will. It will be a further way for the user to realize like what they're looking at. This one here, really, it's all silence and then just like a couple minutes in the middle. What a weird. Let me get rid of that song from the next one here. I'll just get rid of that one from the playlist. I thought, I was like, why is this? Why is the music stopped? And then I realized it hasn't. It's playing, but there's actually nothing there. Like the 3-minute song, and like the first minute has nothing, and the last minute has nothing. Very strange. Okay, so we have that. We'll get rid of the user code for now. Alright, and then I'll say off consent. Permissions. Description. So the following permissions are requested by the above application. Please review Please review these and consent you approve. I actually like the wording they have here because it's clear and concise, so that's why I'm using their wording. Off consent permissions. Oh. And then we have the consent form here. Now the question is, okay, so this is just, oh, that's why they put the state there, because they're passing the state on to the authorize thing. Okay. So I got that. Okay, I understand that now. So TH action is not going to be just that. Actually, that's weird. That would not work. Doing it that way. This actually, for most people who are putting this thing together, like if they were doing it as a sample, that wouldn't work because it doesn't take into account the context path. Now, for me, it would actually work because my context path is root, but I don't want to rely on that. So, should be the at symbol. Yeah, here we go. At blah blah blah. Be that. And this would be, I didn't call it request URI, I called it off URI. But that's why they have the client ID. Okay. Not a fan of passing the client ID through a hidden field on the page that anybody could see, but it is what it is, I guess. So we'll put the client ID in here. And again, I'm not sure what I'm that concerned about because most of the OAuth stuff is gets instead of posts, so you'll see it in the URL anyway, so I guess I shouldn't be that overly concerned about it. It's not the client secret, so there's that. Client ID, state, user code, not a thing I need. Each scope in scopes, that should really be in new scopes. What are they doing here? They're putting a checkbox on it? For what purpose? So so they're gonna pass the scope. As checkboxes. With the idea that the user could check off the one, that doesn't make any sense, because if the app is requesting these scopes, then the app needs those scopes. There ain't a middle ground there. So that's a bit silly. And I actually come to think of it, that brings up another point, which is these scopes here are not real scopes. They are the ones that we've mocked up for. They're the message properties lookups for scopes. But really, there should be a model add attribute requested scopes, and that's just the scope string that was passed in, because it seems to me like we have to pass that on to the next step, is what I'm gathering from that. So we have requested scopes here, and then I would just do input type hidden name is scope each value is requested scopes. There. Get rid of this freaking nonsense. I mean, I need the TH form check. Right. Don't even. I don't have words for the wackiness here. I really don't. Really, it's just a bulleted list. So UL LI TH text go. Right, and then do that like that. Get rid of this nonsense. H4 scope. Oh, right, because they were passing it in as a separate class. Whatever. And then they have their scope description. I guess I could put the class equals text primary. All right. And then want show off consent permissions granted. You have already granted the following permissions to the above application. So this would be HF the is correct there. Not well, previously approved. I just have previous scopes. Previous scopes. And then th text is show off consent permissions granted. Rid of that. And this again is previous scopes, and we just basically do the same thing I have up here. For that nonsense. Okay, button. ID. Mix that. Let me just say consent button. Each text there, so go off. Really, I should do. That doesn't matter. I guess go off. Consent button equals just like allow rather than submit consent. That's the only one that. Yeah. Also, I wonder, this is one of those questions of, do you put the allow button first and the cancel button second? Or do you swap it? The cancel button first. I guess in this case we just put the allow button first. Yeah. Off consent button allow button cancel. I guess I should just have a button dot cancel, don't I? I guess technically we can have a button allow. Well, doesn't have to be specifically for this page. Do button allow there and rid of this. And oh, they didn't even make this a button. They made it a link. I am not a fan of. We'll do button outline secondary. Button cancel button. No on click. I mean, there will be an on click, but not the lazy man's way. Let's each text button to cancel. Oh, that also means I don't do the script in line, right? I would like to do the script in line. Did I ever get that nonce stuff working for scripts in line? I don't know if I did. Did I? Operation. I think I did add it. I had to add. No, how did I think I got it working in line. No, I didn't. I have a JS login JS here, even though I have the nonce on it. Well, no, actually, no, that is correct because it's yeah. So this is working now with the nonce there, right? I did specifically for that to get the modal to work. So yeah, that should be working now. It's just that I put the JS code in a different file. That's all. Which in this particular case, yeah, I guess I'll put this in its own file as well. We'll put this here. This would be not login.js, but putting more than just. I think I'm all off. And yes, I think I want to put some. I want to match up the structures in the JS with what's there. And, let's see what we got here. So then do that, and thank you for the follow, Kylondo. I appreciate it. So I want to do OAuth consent footer. And you say your consent to provide access is required. If you do not approve, click. Hey, hi, Kyle. Welcome. If you do not approve, click cancel. I guess yeah, we'll just have to synchronize those. Cancel. Howdy. Howdy, howdy. How you doing today? In which case, no information will be shared with the application. Yeah, I like their wording. There's a whole lot of other things I don't like about how they did it. Let's see here. Just had a late dinner. Now you're going to do some coding practice. Nice. What are you on? Advent code or Advent? Yeah, Advent of code. And then there's a couple coding sites, I think. You're doing Go? Cool. Learning programming. Oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing pretty good. Nice. So you're learning Go. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna pretty soon here, once I get this OAuth stuff working, I'm gonna have to start learning Dart, I think, to do the mobile app. So that's gonna be a new one for me. I think I'm gonna use Flutter to do the cross compilation between Android and iOS, but we'll see. Authentication is on your course lessons later. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I already have the basic authorization for the website done. This is the authorization. This is the OAuth authorization to come in as a third-party app or the mobile devices and stuff like that. So to the API rather than to the application itself. So that's what I've been working on, trying to figure out how to have both of those things live together in harmony. Footer? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Alright, I got that. Small consent.js, and consent.js is going to be just a very tiny thing here, but oh, you know what? I'm not going to be able to. Well, yeah, I can. I have to put it as a data attribute on the button. Let's do th data URL, and this will be, I think, just the URL to go to, right? I wrap it. I guess I should wrap it in a. Yeah, I better wrap it in an @ here. This will be $, and then that is. What, did I actually put that in here? No, I think I just want them to just go to logout. So I think I can just say /log logouts there. So if they canceled, it just logs them out, which will close their session, their server session, give them a brand new server session as an anonymous user, and send them back to the home page, theoretically. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. Actually, I don't even need to... I can just make the button a link. Doesn't even need to do... I don't even need to do JavaScript for it. It's literally just going to be a link. So... I can just do... a... type button... and just do... well, yeah, th text, yeah. And then it just would be href. Right, and then I don't even need the script at all, which saves us some heartache. Hopefully this will style like a button. I think it will. We'll see as we look at the page. Alright, well, nothing more to do than to try it. I guess at this point, let's back up in here. We get more green real estate and project clean. Okay, and no problems, right? Oh, 2 errors. Oh, these are right. Wait, what? Redundant public modifier. Oh, okay. These are actually check style problems. Okay, that's redundant public modifier, and then oh yeah, no. Why am I doing? Why did I put that there without any? I must have copied that directly or something. Actually, almost positive I did. Based on how that's working there. Alright, project clean. Try that again. Hopefully without check style warnings this time. Alright, that's good. Clean deploy the Tomcat and clean the web directory up, and we'll run it. See if things still run or not. That is the question. I see I'm still tailing the logs. Alright, so I go in here and I clear cookies, get new access token, user 1, and then I need look up their password here and that login. So it issued me a token, which is interesting. Did it put anything in the database? No, so it's not. It's not asking for consent still. But we gotta wire that up appropriately here. Authorization endpoint config. Authorization endpoint. Authorization server configure. Alright, so now we gotta figure out big. OAuth2 authorization server configure.class. Device authorization endpoint I haven't set. We're not doing that right now. Client authentication. I don't need to customize that. Authorization endpoint. And then OIDC. Authorization endpoint dot consent page. And then the string custom consent page URI. So that's not picking up what I want. Why didn't that pick up the... This is the authorization server security filter chain. Whereas the other one... Me? So I gotta try to wrap my head around which section we're in here. Authorization server security filter chain. Pretty sure this is this for me. Server filter chain. Got the JWK source and all that stuff in it. Right. Decoder, source. All that. That's gotta be it. So then... endpoint config. Yep. Theoretically is always the keyword. Lechner. Um, an auth.consent page. That takes a string. Specify a URI to redirect resource owners to if consent is required during the authorization code flow. So maybe one of my settings is not right, where I don't say that I require consent during the authorization code flow. In general, the consent page should create a form that submits a request with the following. It must be a post. To get authorization endpoint. Client underscore ID as an HTTP parameter. State and list of scopes. Okay. What we've done. So then when I am saying authorization endpoint, is there something else here? Because it says a default consent page will be generated when this attribute is not specified, which I didn't have it specified. But it also didn't generate a default thing, which tells me that I don't have it turned on somewhere. This is the client. We have authorization code there. This code, reuse refresh tokens. Authorization code time to live. So bring authorization server require our authentication. What was it? Application. What was it called? Authorization code flow. Flow require consent. This session is first state. Auth client. Anonymous users. Code branch. This token. No. Skip the consent step. Wait a minute here. Use password grant type for avoid mixing. Trusted clients. I don't want to request users' consent. By your authorization server, Spring Security has no control over that. You would need to configure auto-approve scopes on your authorization server first. Alright, that's a very generic answer, but not the one I'm looking for. So, custom. Got the official custom consent sample. Custom consent screen without replicating. Let me guess, this takes me right to where I'm at, right? Three main samples, custom consent authorization server. I wonder if that even exists. Nope. Nope. These lines figure the consent page. Authorization endpoint consent. Yeah, okay. I got that. I got that far. Now how do I tell it to use it? Oh, I wonder if it's not using it because I've already theoretically consented with the other records in there. Yeah, maybe I'm throwing myself off here because I got these OAuth 2 authorizations here. So let's do this. Let's truncate table OAuth 2 authorization. Zero records effect. That's not right. Oh. It did it. Okay. Anyway. What's the likelihood I still have their password there? No, it's just saying still getting it without being challenged. Huh. So, Running customize was mapped from a consent screen to the saved authorization. No, that's not what I want. I don't understand these people that don't even understand the question that's being asked and they just give answers anyway. Form login. I'm looking for initiating authorization request. Authorization code. So, authorization request. You put additional parameters on it? Rams put prompt consent. I wonder if that is it. Could it be that simple? I mean, that's going to a third party, but I'm wondering. I mean, it should be easy enough to try it, right? If there's a way to do it. I don't see anything here. You know, where the hell did they put those additional parameters at? Auth to authorization request builder. Authorization request resolver. Okay, that's completely different than what I need. That's not going to work for me. Authorization endpoints. Consent page. Authorization is required during the request flow. Okay, but how do I tell it it is required? It doesn't seem like it cares right now. Definition request validation. Device verification. Token. There's the endpoint. So, client ID. I don't know. That's really not helping. That was a while back. Was user consent page. Custom consent page. Well, that's closed. Missing state parameter. Gotta be something like this is the thing with this is that you end up going through all these random pages until someone somewhere has one line that stands out and it sends you down the right path. Like say this require authorization consent dot build on client setting. On the registered client, require authorization consent is a boolean, although it's commented out. Okay, wait a minute. So, next registered client mapper. I don't think there's a column for it. ID. Registered client builder with ID. So is there a oops. We got client authentication methods, client ID, client name, secret. Token settings. Damn. So it's when creating a registered client, right? Is what they had here. Client settings. Oh wait, it was doing client settings, which I wonder if that's authentication methods. No. Client. Isn't there? I do look at client settings somewhere, right? Client ID, client secret, authentication methods. Scope IDs. Here we go. Client builder client settings. Client settings. Okay, I just take the defaults. Client settings builder dot require authorization consent. True. Aha. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is like that has been this whole process is like you search for something random that's not even the right search terms, and somewhere you find a commented out line that just freaking has the answer that you're looking for, and it should be freaking right here. Like it should be right here somewhere, and it's not, and that burns my ass. So let me see if they actually have it here in a sample somewhere. So it would be under my authentication provider. Register client repository. Here we go. Register client. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not register client repository. So where's their repository at? That's not it. I want to see if they even have it here. That's not it. My authentication. Device code. Convert. Client ID. No. Not what I'm looking for. I don't think it's under web. Definitely not under there. Device authorization, client authentication. Authorization endpoint and page. Here we go. Register client repository. Freaking here it is, right here. Jesus H. Christ, man. Alright. Well, they have it there at least. But boy, is that buried. Okay. I can't fault them on that, other than, you know, it being just buried in a miasma of nonsense. There. Okay. So now that I have that set, stop the server and recompile. And do clean. Whoops. Yes. Did I not save this? Let's do everything. Let's do another project clean here. Our build. All right, now clean deploy. In the work directory. For sake of argument, let's truncate the table here. Coming at fresh. Be anything in authorization. Okay. Alright, so we're back over here and start the server up. Come in here, we'll clear cookies just for the hell of it. The user 1. Do I still have user 1's password? Maybe. Holy shit. There it is, the consent form. Apparently I threw up a server error with the wrong thing, but that's on me. I'm able to read your account information. That's showing up blue. Oh, because it's primary, text primary, okay. Actually not. I mean, all things considered, not terrible. It's not lined up the way I would like. Actually, you know what? Allow and cancel on separate lines is actually, I'm actually okay with that. So well, am I okay with that, or is that going to lead to misclick? No, I think having it on separate lines in the center of the page would mean that you won't misclick it, hopefully. Right, that's good. You got our Gravatar there, although that's not the Gravatar of the account, so that's probably what the server error is about. It's just a random Gravatar, not the one for user 1. What did we get here? Parameter value. Yeah, parameter value. Okay. Delegating. Oh, here it is. No, that's. I gotta figure out past Jackson 2 module that it's looking for. Get rid of that class cast where that's not found exception. It's just causing a whole lot of noise. And actually, I probably won't even run into it anymore because I'm going to get rid of those columns anyway from the database because I don't want them to be configurable. How about in here? Is there anything on this console? No. But something definitely caused server error, so it's got to be here. What? Did I not call it server error? Next. Oh, I called it system error. Oh, I do that all the time. Okay. Error. An error. So it could have been this one because it would have redirected us to log out. It had to be down here. Something threw an exception in here. My guess is maybe casting the principal here. More than likely. Although I should see something in the logger anyway. If it couldn't do that, I should still see unable to display OAuth2 consent form. Do I see that somewhere here? Oh, trace. Oh, you know what it is? I still have trace turned on. So I'm getting all this crap. Let's turn trace. All right, let's stop the server here. And log back. Go back to bug. Don't get all that, all the spring crap in there that I don't need. I had that on trace because when we were trying to figure out what it was doing with the OAuth stuff, but now we're beyond that. I don't need that much craziness there. All right. And clean deploy. Clean the work directory. And start. We got let's close this out. Cancel, clear cookies. New access token. Error occurred processing your request. Okay, so that's working now, but where's it saying that? Trace. Why am I still getting trace stuff? Just come in 2340. Oh no. 2359. Wait, am I not seeing the latest here? Oh, wow. I'm an idiot. Apparently at some point that tail just stopped working. Because it was showing August 21st. Whoops. That explains why I'm so confused. Let's do last next log. Yeah, because that log would have rolled over as soon as I started the server up because it, yeah, and that's why the tail failed, or silently failed. Okay. Go to the end. Granted authorities. I don't see an error here. I see a lot of debug statements. Oh, here we go. Oh, username, password, authentication token cannot be cast. Do hex user. Oh, right, because it's the details. I have to do get details and then. That's right. I always forget that. Okay, that's good. That is where I expected it to. If it was going to fail with the way it did, then that's where I'd expect it to fail. So, yeah, because it's gotta be principal that gets can't pull it off the principal is username password token. Oh, because it's probably not on the principal interface. Username password. Oops. Token. For Christ's sake here, get detail. Yeah, okay. X user equals this nonsense. Which stuff has to be cast. Next user. There we go. In theory, I could pull it out of the session, which I think is what Principal is doing anyway. But just to be safe and also be, I guess, more technically correct, I'll do it this way. And even though it looks ugly, it's cast hell, but that is the nature sometimes of object-oriented programming. Well, when you're dealing with a library that loves to make multiple levels of indirection for no good reason. They do love their interfaces. Becomes interface soup after a while. And I would love to know, like, some of their interfaces, I just wonder if there's actually any real purpose to some of them. Like, I feel like somewhere along the way, the Spring Framework guys put a whole raft of interfaces in there without having any real, like, without having a companion interface. Like, for instance, you have a hierarchy of interfaces, right? And the idea, at least on paper, is that you're going to have probably something else at the same level as that interface, right? Because that would kind of make some sort of sense. Like, if you have two things that are kind of similar but different enough that they require that, you know. And I'm betting they have nothing like that. I'm betting they have layers upon layers of interfaces that have no real purpose anymore. You know? Or I should say, like, you have interfaces at a level where you have different implementations of those interfaces. But I bet they don't even have that. But at this point, the beast is so large and in charge that no one wants to go in and actually clean it out, clean house. I'll bet. That's why I tend to stick to like one level of interfaces. Like I don't have, I rarely, if ever, will have an interface that extends an interface that extends an interface, or even for that matter, an abstract class that extends an abstract class that extends an abstract class, unless I'm extending some library that has those different things. You know, it's bonkers after a while. You have all these levels of indirection, and you end up never utilizing them to whatever need you want it in the first place. This is up. Cancel that. Get new access token. User 1. Oop. Incomplete. Yeah, an immediate. Oh, did I? Okay. I'll bet I have lost user 1's password here. That. Okay. We're getting an error. So what is the cast error? Hex web authentication details. Okay, I just did the wrong cast. Hex web authentication details. After all this time, it's like I don't even remember all the different ways it was sliced. So hex web authentication details. User dot verification code. Oh, wait a minute. You have the verification code. All we have at this point? Detail. Principal dot get. And password, I think. Oh, I guess because I guess because we're not fully logged in yet. But surely there would be. I might only have access to their username, which is not ideal. I mean, I can look up their user detail based on their username. I think that's very important to have that there. That gives us user web authentication details. Right. This has... Because technically you're not fully logged in yet, so we haven't populated your full user details. But that's okay. I can work with that. I can, because I have their username. I'll just have to look up the user based on their username. Hex user. Let's do this. What do I need? Private user. What did I call the DAO for that? Authentication DAO? Yeah, authentication DAO. Get user by username off. Right, okay. Get user by username. Okay. The off. Get active user or get user by username. Okay. This does check to make sure they're active, right? It doesn't. I don't check that there. I do have a get active user by ID. That's ID. Yeah, in this particular case, well, no, I guess that's fine. I'll just check to see if they're authenticated. User by username, or if they're active, I should say. If user that if boolean false equals user that get active, then redirect to log out. I mean, we shouldn't get this far if they're not active, but just in case. Just in case someone's scanning endpoints and they just happen to run across this one. We'll do that. And this would be user dot oh god, does this not get the details too? Get roles, get it. user by username doesn't pull back the details, right? Didn't I have something that brought those back? I feel like I do. User details, user details where user ID is. I guess I didn't. Alright, well, we'll have to do user details then. Wait, what does that bring back? Brings back user details. Okay. Okay. So be it. User details. Details. Details equals. Actually, yeah, what am I doing? I can just do it this way. User details, user details. Here. User details. Wired. User details. DO dot find by ID. User dot ID. Okay. Then we can say user details. Display name. Details get grow to RD. Okay. Now we're more on track than we were. It makes sense. I was wondering because I'm like thinking to myself like there has to be a specific reason why they're passing principal in here and not because we haven't quite created the user session yet. So I wouldn't have been able to just go into the session and grab those details. They're not there. What I'm gathering here, which again makes more sense to me because we're in kind of a limbo where we're not fully authorized yet, but we're getting there. So okay, so that's good. We'll work that out right now. We'll make sure I save everything. Project clean. Do all thing here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. And work directory. Clean deploy. Start her up. And I don't know why I keep going back to the browser thinking I'm going in through there, but I'm not going in through Postman. New token, user 1, password, login. Allow application access. That is the correct avatar. User 1, name is the name of the account. Test wants to access this. Allowing permissions are requested. Read your account information. That is correct. Allow or cancel. So we say allow. And we get a bad SQL grammar. Okay, so that's good. That means to try to insert to the database. I was expecting to get something here where we have a problem. Because I almost always botch one of these. So bad SQL grammar. Select count star from OAuth to authorization consent where register client ID is that. The principal name is that. Just trying to see if there exists syntax error at or near and. Syntax error at or near and. Oh. What do you want to bet I forgot to actually provide the parameters for register client ID and principal name? Because I've been known to do that a lot when I'm rushing through things. Okay, so let's get to that line here. Where's it at? Where are you at? Authorization consent DAO 82. Yep, I did. I completely forgot. I did the query for object and then I didn't actually pass in the registered client ID and principal name. Boom. Got it. Objects. Let me make sure I saved again. Project clean. I remembered it down here. One of those things where I just rush through it so fast I forget to actually pull out the parameters needed for the question marks. I expect we'll probably have another one here. All right, that's started. All right, user one. This. Allow. Yep, insert now. Values. Ooh, that's wrong. That's a bad replacement. Values. Is that? Insert into OAuth 2 authorization consent. Yeah, I see the problem there. Where's my insert? Of columns. Oh, it's a string array. Wait, stream of columns map to camel case to array string new. Am I actually even using the... I am using a name parameter. ABC template. Okay. Right, and I am using the bean property. Camel case. Right. Okay, it's changing these. Camel case. Adding a colon in front of them. And then I need to make it an actual string. Did I have one here where I did an actual string? Camel case columns. Did I remove that because it wasn't used? Camel case to array. Concatenated columns. Concatenated columns. I guess not. I was just doing the string utils join on it. Okay, so I did have the string utils join on it at one point, I think, and then I, for some reason, removed it. I don't know why. I don't know why I removed it, but I did. So let's fix that. String utils join. There we go. How about the update? Oh, the update I just did straight, which is correct. It's just that one. All right. Fair enough. Okay, and clean deploy. In the work directory. And start. Let's see what we got here. Allow. Authorization complete. All right, and I got issued a token. Correct. Use the token. Then over here, I should see a record now in the consent table. And I do. Awesome. That is now working the way it's supposed to. So we have the registry table. We have the authorization table, which has been generating authorization codes. Now this one was the one that actually went through because it has read instead of null as the scopes that are authorized. Good. Okay. Okay, very good there. And then this is the consent that was granted to this guy for this user. It's by username instead of by ID, but we only have the username at this point. We don't, I mean, we do have, yeah, we only have really username at this point. So, and it's part of login, so yeah, okay. Sure. But I do at least look up the username for when we display the page, which was displaying their display name, not their username, and their avatar. So that's good. And of course I can rearrange stuff on that page if I want to. I think the way I've seen a lot of authorization pages is they'll put your avatar and your username front and center so that you can see it easily, and then they'll say the following application and an application name wants to get these permissions. I think I'll kind of rearrange it a little bit that way, but that's more of an aesthetic thing. The functionality is here. The other thing we got to tackle is actually registering, like having a page where applications can register themselves, or developers can register their applications, I should say. And then part of that's going to be, I'm going to get rid of a couple of those columns that I don't want to actually be configurable. I want them to be hard-coded, like what permissions are required and all those things. So I want to dictate what I'm allowing. I want to dictate what kind of code flows I'm allowing and all that stuff in the code itself, not by the developers of an application. So that's good. So we'll have that together, and I can re-up the database migration scripts with those changes, and then we gotta work on the UIs. So really tomorrow I'll be working on some of the more fun stuff, which is I have the basics working. Now it'll be the UI stuff, which is if I go into here, all right, and I log in, user 1 password. All right, you see user 1 name is what was there, and then this is the avatar. Then under settings, so we'll have to do the applications page now, or now we can do the applications page now, which is will be a listing of all the applications that you've granted consent to, and then obviously here's where you would remove consent for applications if you don't want them anymore to have access anymore. And that should be actually fairly simple, because that's just deleting a record from the database for your user. And I've already got your username in, as well as the ID in the session at this point, because you're logged in. So all that should be a relatively straightforward, fairly simple lookup with a delete or a revoke, I guess would be a revoke button more likely. And then I can probably tie into like the last time it was used. So I'll want to sort them. I want to sort them by like last used probably. So I guess it would be go into OAuth authorization for that registered client ID, and then look at I can look at the scopes that it has, which will be important, show on that page. But then code value. Oh yeah, the expiry and when it was issued, those are both important things. That's for authorization code. I have to see, so refresh token. Looks like it defaults to an hour for your refresh token. I feel like the authorization, I have to look this up tomorrow, but I feel like the authorization token is the thing that has to last longer than the refresh token. Because a refresh token, like lasting an hour, it makes sense, because the refresh token is the thing that the app is going to be requesting every time it's needed. So having that last an hour is the correct thing, but I think the authorization token or the authorization code, I'll have to see. I'll have to see what the typical time is for that. Because maybe at that point the refresh token would still be valid, and I imagine it'll still keep this. They'll still keep generating new refresh tokens for you, even if your authorization code is there. But I can't. That's the thing. I have to figure out is if the authorization code has to still be valid in order to issue a new refresh token. My gut tells me it has to be, but we'll see. Because I think that's the 2-layer thing there where your authorization code still has to be non-expired. And as long as it's not expired, then new refresh tokens will get generated. And it's the refresh token that actually... Because I think you have to... If your refresh token is expired, the client then has to use the authorization code to then get to then request a new refresh token, if I'm not mistaken. So the authorization code still has to be non-expired. If the authorization code is expired, then it would have to re-auth itself, which means it would probably have to go get consent again, theoretically. Although, I guess it wouldn't need consent again if the scope hasn't changed. Maybe. Yeah, I'm guessing if the scope hasn't changed, then you wouldn't have to do it again. Well, I guess, actually, you know what? This authorization code expires at 12:43 a.m. It's already 12:48. So let's see what happens here. I'm curious to see. If I send with this, it says unauthorized. Okay. So get new access token. So it just gave me a new access token. Do this, and now we got OK back. So then what did that do in here? Authorization. So yeah, it generated a new authorization code. Even though that refresh token was still valid, the authorization code was not valid, so it forced you to reauthorize. And it did not ask for consent again because the scopes didn't change. Right, so we still have this one record here, right? Okay, so that explains it. So yeah, so the authorization code, has to be the long-living thing, and it's just the refresh tokens that I could just leave at an hour and just have it be, you just use the refresh tokens for things. Now, does this automatically, the refresh request, hanger update, okay. Refresh token URL, so I have that configured. Auto refresh token, your expire token will be auto refreshed before sending a request. Right. Okay. Well, this is good. This means that it's working. I mean, Postman is just a standard development tool that everybody uses when they're doing, a lot of people use when they're doing API stuff. And the fact that Postman is able to get an access token successfully and use it tells me that I must have done it correctly for the most part. So that's good. That's really good. Fires at 12:53 a.m. today. Refresh. Right. So I'll have to test this where I have a much longer access token period. And maybe I'll temporarily set the refresh token to like 5 minutes or something. And then see if it's how that is working. So I learn how all this stuff is going. So yeah, okay. All right. Good stuff. That is good stuff. We are nearly there with this. We're nearly there with the API, or at least the security around the API. And then I just have to do I'm going to make a different dashboard. So we still have an admin. We have an admin area. So there will be an admin dashboard for the admins in the system. There's going to be a streamer dashboard, which I haven't done yet. Creator dashboard, whatever I call it. And then there's going to be a developer dashboard. The developer dashboard will be where developers can enter their details of their app to be able to register for OAuth tokens and go from there. And then I need to and that's just to get to the API. And then outside of that, I have to put some throttling controls around the API, but that'll be a cakewalk compared to what I've just done. So I've done that before. I've done API throttling before using this technique, not with the Spring Security, but this will be outside of the realm of Spring Security because I don't think Spring Security has a throttling mechanism with it. And actually Spring MVC I don't think has any throttling associated with it either. I'll be using a different library for that I'm already familiar with. So hopefully that'll be able to knock that out relatively easily. And then honestly, we're in desperate need of some unit tests and things because I have a whole bunch of stuff I have a whole bunch of cards on the project list that I can't set to complete because I haven't done unit tests or integration tests for them. So, and I haven't really done anything off camera with it. So at some point along the line here, we're going to have to bite the bullet and I'm going to have to do a stream of me just doing JUnit tests and getting those all set up. I'll probably make that like a Monday stream where I just do testing or something. But tomorrow is going to be some more graphical stuff and getting this in here, and then obviously I have to do the two-factor auth, change two-factor auth page too at some point. I don't have that done yet. I haven't even started that yet. I don't think. That'll be another thing on top of all that, and then we'll have like the basic like login and security stuff. And I still have to do IP address lookups, GeoIP stuff, and also The other thing is integrating the email stuff that I already have. Email notifications for when your password changes and stuff like that. So as additional security layers. So, and also for like things like forgot password and whatnot. So yeah, well, still have a lot of like basic application stuff to do. Just to kind of flesh out the actually getting into the application and getting stuff ready to go. The fundamental foundational stuff basically. And that's not even including like the back-end service stuff with, you know, dealing with video and all that stuff. And not even dealing with like the mobile thing either. I do want to get mobile started because all I really need to do is get like an OAuth thing set up and just have a page that just hits the API, you know, does the whole OAuth handshake and everything, and then is able to hit the API endpoint and just bring back a test message and just have that working for now, because that's about all I could do at the moment. There's nothing else to grab there. I guess technically you do a profile page or even like access your settings page or something for the mobile device. So I guess there is a little bit slightly more that I could do there, but yeah, I want to get that started too, just so that we have everything's sort of at the same level almost. So not like leaving something behind that's going to be important. I think the mobile stuff is going to be important. I also tend to think that the like other stuff like the TV apps and stuff are going to be kind of important too. But I could probably put those off a little bit longer because they are still technically mobile apps. They're Android apps. So I can, you know, once I've kind of fleshed out more of the API that they'll be using, then it'll be easier to just kind of throw them in there and get those going once there's more meat on the bones kind of thing. But we'll see. Lots and lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff to stay busy with. But that will do it for me for tonight, my friends. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. Probably around 2:30 in the afternoon, Eastern time. And we'll be going for several hours. I think I'll be back tomorrow. I might be back Sunday rather than tomorrow. It depends on what's going on, but I think tomorrow I'll be here. And it'll be for the nice longer several hour stream and start tackling some more of this stuff. This is good. We've made some good progress tonight. We've got things working that are fundamental, and yeah, I are pleased right now, friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone has an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what it is for you. And I hope to see you back here again in the future for some more stuff, whatever happens to suit your fancy. Until then, see you, bye.